Welcome to Sipping with Maria and Tika G. We got to pay these bills, so let go. Here's a word from our sponsors. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosted on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free.
Whoop whoop!
Boop! Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Today. Welcome to Sipping with Maria and Tika G, where we do not talk about politics, religion, or celebrities. We feel like there are enough blogs, vlogs, and other podcasts that talk about that stuff. This season one, we're talking about relationships. We picked this title because it's something everyone can relate to. We're not just talking about couples, we're talking about all type of relationships. Parent and child relationships, in-law relationships, brother and sister's relationship. The list goes on and on and on. And y'all, guess what? This is episode 10. This is the last episode for season 1. Now, before we get into this last episode, which is we have a reunion where we have some of our guests that has been on the show during the season. Some of them are here today. Also, before we get in the show, I just want to recognize that it is Women's Month. And the woman that I want to recognize tonight is Miss Patricia Arabath. She was an American ophthalmologist, inventor, a humanitarian, and an academic. She invented and improved the device for laser cataract surgery. Her invention was called a laser phaco. I hope I'm saying that right. A laser phaco probe, which she patented in 1986. So congratulations to her. She passed away in 2019, sadly. Tika, what's up, girl?
Hey.
Hey. So this is our reunion. I'm very excited. I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce our guests or let our guests introduce themselves if they like. But also, this is episode 10, and this episode is what is your favorite episode? Tika, did you have any answers to that question before we introduce our guests?
Basically, people were saying they really could not decide. Some people said siblings. And then others told me that they really could not decide because they felt that they could relate to all of the episodes. So they said they could not, they said they couldn't even narrow it down really to those people that were undecided. But to, I would say about 20%, it was people that were saying, hey, the siblings really did hit me. And I did not think of that. The siblings and the answering the questions and, talking about the relationship of siblings. I didn't, I guess I just didn't really think about that one. But it was like really popular. So.
Well, I have a confession, and that was also my favorite episode too.
Wow, Marie G.
It was. The sibling one was definitely my favorite episode, and one of our guests that's also here today, she touched on some things that was very true. Being that she and I are related, I was there, so I know her story is a true story.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, the siblings ones was my favorite too. I was trying to get Miss Tamika on the show, but we've been playing phone tag all day, but that was her favorite also. You remember she wrote us a book and a review. So shout out to Tamika for the book of the review. That really hit home for her. So I'm not surprised that a lot of people picked that one as their favorite episode.
Okay.
Not surprised at all. But if you like, you can go ahead and introduce our guest.
For our guest for tonight, returning for episode 10, the finale is Dana.
Hi.
Hi, Dana.
We have to do it.
Tika. Hey, D.
Thank you for joining us tonight for episode 10. We're so excited. Episode 10, been 10 weeks. This is real,
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
Dana.
am so proud of y'all ladies. Very proud of y'all.
Thank you. Dana, before Tika introduced the other guests, what was your favorite episode? And of course, you cannot pick the one that you were in. What was your favorite episode of the
You can't
show?
do me like that.
It can't
I mean,
be.
because it's hard. I mean, it's I agree with the rest of the viewers. It's hard because it's so many topics that I can relate to and that has hit home for me as well. So it's hard for me to say because all of them have just, been so good and real.
Well, we appreciate you. We're going to let that one slide. So that's great that you couldn't decide. Tika, I'm going to stop being rude and let you go ahead and introduce the other person back by popular demand. I ain't going to say nothing else. I'm going to let you go ahead and finish.
Yes, definitely back by popular demand. And I really do apologize to our listeners that we said that we do not talk about celebrity when we've been talking to a celebrity, okay?
Right, we ain't even know. We ain't even know.
Introducing the voice, Corey.
Hello.
Oh.
What's up, everybody?
Corey had the women like, ooh, wee.
That was crazy.
He was like, where is Corey? I'm like, rude.
How everybody doing?
Everybody is good. And apparently they missing you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ain't that sweet? Well, I'm gonna have to come on more often.
Yes, we gonna need you to do that.
Corey.
Yes, I just been so busy. Work has been killing me, and I just I heard back from my promotion that I applied for back in January. So
The one you were telling me about before, the first time we talked.
Yeah, so I applied for that.
I told you got that job already. That's why they want you.
I'm a finalist. I got that email the other day. I'm a finalist. So.
Corey, go Corey. Okay.
Well, yeah, I have to get more in tune with you guys more often. And it's for, I would say a favorite episode would have to be the sibling one.
Okay.
Even though, I have 3 brothers. Well, one died in 2008, but I still consider myself, I still tell people I have 3 brothers. Me and my brothers, we get along good, and sometimes it doesn't work. That doesn't work out for most siblings, which I would, never understand. But yeah, it had to be that one. And there's another one, but that was the one I was on. So since I can't choose that one, so
no, you couldn't. Nope.
But I'm gonna go with the sibling.
Okay.
I think that one really hit home for a lot of people.
Right, it did.
Yes.
While we're still during the show, I'm gonna still try to get Tamika to see if I can get her to come on the show while we're recording, because I really want y'all to hear her story, how passionate that this young lady was about. You have to read the reviews, listeners. If you have not seen the review, look for the review that title said, it's 2 titles, but you want the one that's longer. It says, I need a call in. Please go to the website, www.sippingwithmariaandtikag.com. She was so passionate about that particular topic that I was in tears reading it. So I'm really going to try to get her on the show now while we're talking. She was very passionate about that. And she did send a shout out to Dana as well, because she felt like her and Dana was on the same page. So I'm going to try to get her on here while we're going through the show. Hopefully she'll be able to just chime in. But I really want Tamika on here because that was, and I'm like I said, I'm really not surprised that the sibling one was not most people's favorite. Because it was mine as well. That was, I'm listening to all the podcasts. I have to because I do the editing, but it, that one, that one was my favorite as well. So I'm gonna try to get Tamika on. Tika, I'm gonna give you back the floor.
Okay, so in relation to the one that you were on, Corey, what did you really enjoy about that one? About you telling your story, being passionate about, what you said in the relationship.
It was, I was able to, I guess, tell my story, part of it, or how, I didn't want to take up too much time of it, but I just felt comfortable with telling my story. The relationship part. What else did we talk about? We talked about quite a few things in that episode, didn't we?
Oh yes, we definitely did.
It was talking about. Was that the episode we talked about? Moving in with one another.
Yes, and how fast you think the relationship is going, or and if you pretty much if you think that hinders the relationship, or
because I'm just at the point, I'm 40 years old and I'm at the point where I'm good with whoever I end up in a relationship with. I'm good with living in separate households.
Okay.
That way you get on my nerves, you can go home. I get on your nerves, I can go home. No love lost, and I'll holler at you.
and when I spoke with some of the listeners and some of the people who were answering the polling questions, I did find that some people were saying the same thing. They said it's best to have your own space.
Right.
And a lot of people found out that a lot of things backfired. And I do remember in particular this woman, and I remember because she was so getting worked up about it, I could tell in her voice, but she was saying that, the whole 30-day thing that she had to do and do a eviction and she said that took a toll on her to just get dragged, had to drag it through, because, telling the person to get out and
right,
and you're no longer in a relationship, and they said, oh, okay, I got something for you. And I still get mail here. I still, do this, that, and the other. And she had to do the 30-day.
Yeah.
And was said that it was just a process to do that. So she has not lived with anyone since then. She says whoever she has been with and the person she's with, that they do have separate homes.
Mm-hmm.
And, she was like, we're not married, just got separate.
I get it. Not that I've experienced it yet, but that's just what I want to do. That's what I choose to do. And I need the other person to, it's a compromise thing. I don't feel the need to have to move in with you at all. So
right.
all I ask, relationship wise, a separate household, all I ask is respect on both parties.
And I agree with that. So everybody, guess who up in here with us? Go Mika. Go Tamika. Go Tamika. I got her in here, y'all.
Yay, Tamika.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Hey Tamika.
Hey Corey. Hey Tika. Hey
Tamika.
I'm trying to see everybody that's in the room. I'm on my phone.
Your review went viral.
What?
It went viral. Your review went viral. Period.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So they want to hear Corey's voice, but your review, they loved it. So,
oh wow.
Yes. I know I spoke to you one-on-one and you was telling me that particular episode about the siblings hit home. Can you please tell Tika, Corey, and Dana the same thing that you told me about how you felt about that episode? Like, what was you feeling when you were listening to it? Because I know you said you were answering the questions like you were right there.
Yeah, I was answering the questions like I was right there, and it was so crazy because, as Dean, as Maria know, and Corey, they know that I don't have any siblings of my own. Like my mom, I was my mother's only child, but my mother raised her nieces, so those are like my sister cousins. Then I have like my cousins, and I got another cousin that I call a sister cousin, and I got a god brother. But I have no siblings of my own. But the reason why I had all the little problems, we all still had the problems. My cousins, we used to fight licenses, like all of that stuff or whatever. But as we got older, we didn't. It's like if we can't really talk, I don't talk to nobody unless you don't have respect for me or whatever. At the same time, I don't like when people lie about stuff. So it's just, to me, I just separate myself. But the main reason why that episode really hit home for me, because my mother had like, how many of them? It was like 7 of them left or whatever when we first came to Virginia, and none of them was tight. And it was so crazy to watch because I'm like, damn, like she got all these sisters, we came here to take care of my grandparents, and it was lack of participation in taking care of her and my grandma and my grandfather. They used to argue all the time. They couldn't have no civil conversations. And then my mother's younger sister, they used to go head and head, but they couldn't have conversations without an argument. And it was like more of like the younger sibling always thinking she's right. And I love my grandmother to death, but a lot of times she did not correct the younger sibling when she was wrong. So everybody else around, all the other siblings kind of suffered with the fact that, hey, grandma ain't going to say nothing to her, or whatever. So they kind of just let her think she's right. And so that's why it hit home to me when Dana was like, yeah, but we can't have a conversation like an adult. I'd rather not have it at all, because that kind of what happened when my mother passed. Me and my aunt got into it, and then we kept getting into it. So it's like, we can't have a conversation without you disrespecting me. And just because you're my aunt doesn't mean that you can disrespect me and I'm supposed to be okay with that. And now I already gave you 2 opportunities. I don't do third ones, or whatever. I'm like baseball, 3 strikes you out. And after the third one, it's a wrap. Or whatever. I'm ready to throw bows and you my aunt. Or whatever. I don't want to do that. So, and the fact that you feel like you can put your hands on people and not get your hands put back on you, it's a whole nother thing. So, like, for me, yes, it hit home because I watched how their relationships was. Their relationships did not get better until my mom got sick, because I guess everybody felt like, oh, wow, we just, let's just come together, people getting sick. It wasn't until the tragic happened that it kind of mellowed out. And then sometimes it wasn't mellow. It was always the same situation with the same person, always with the mess. And I just feel like reason why I wrote that review was because I remember being in school and we learned about Willie Lynch letter or whatever, but I never read it. So as I got older, I had this old man, Mr. Bill, I miss him, God rest his soul. He passed away from corona or whatever. And he used to read books all the time. And he gave me the book. And he was like, go ahead and read it, baby girl. I mean, he had me reading books, y'all, that would make me go to work being mad at all the white friends I had at work. Because them books was deep and they really make you feel a type of way when you read your history. Right. But what really got me with the Willie Lynch letter was how he taught the slave owners. Because when our people came over here, they was fighting. They was not just submissive the whole time like the movies. They wasn't submissive all the time. Whatever. They was fighting in the beginning, but they didn't know where they was at. So they was just getting lost, trying to get away from the master. So they was hurting them. It was a lot of stuff that wasn't told. So, and the letter is just basically describe how he told them how to take their youngers away from them. This is where you're going to start at. You take their youngers away from them. You can teach them whatever you want to teach them, because they don't have nobody to teach them their history, their native tongue. They don't have nothing or whatever. When you talk about the house nigga versus the field nigga, that's called that's mental work because you're saying, okay, house nigga is better than you because he in the house and he can do this and he can do that and you can't do that. So that's another mental struggle there. They used to buck down our strongest man, and it was horrible to watch because they would have to watch the master and the master's friends buck down the strongest man on the plantation. This somebody's father, somebody's husband, or whatever. And so that taught our mothers back then to coddle the sons and make them be submissive to whatever the white man told them to do or whatever. So for me, when I look at today's generation and I'm looking at how we were all grown up or whatever, and house and this stuff, and how the things that we have done, it's all aligned with the same thing, but it's just, you know what I'm saying, it's just the modern time. So it's like we haven't really got past that part. It seemed like it's still kind of stuck there. That's what got me to writing that review.
And you said it so well. You said it very well.
Yes,
I completely agree.
Yes,
and
she did.
For someone that has not read that letter, I'm telling you, it's a very powerful letter
Dana.
to read. And oh my gosh, yes.
Dana, before you continue, can y'all give me 1 second, please? My apologies.
So whoever has not read that letter, it is a very powerful letter and it's very educational. It will actually make you think about what you have been taught in school. The truth.
Yes, it is.
What is really the truth. So I love history, and being from the South, Black history was something they made it known that we know. Am I right, Maria?
Maria.
Well, what's your thought, Tika?
I do believe that, like you were saying about the history and things like that, and things replaying itself. And mind you, I didn't really have a sense for history until I moved to, or had to move to, for military reasons, to Virginia, because I'm from California, so it's like when I came here, total different. So yeah, it's the whole historical part that people would tell me and things like that, and the way different ways that people talked about families and family dynamics and siblings was something that I hadn't really, some things that I hadn't heard before. So I do think that, and like Tamika was saying, it is a few aunts and things like that. My mom comes from a very large family, so I don't know what happened there growing up, because people really, they really don't get along. So sometimes, and when you see siblings like that are not getting along, you're just like, wow, what in the world's going on?
Well, Tika, do you agree that I read something on Facebook that said, I might be saying it wrong, but it had something to say about the reason why we don't, the generation don't get along is because the generation that was holding us together has passed away. Do you agree with that?
That's true.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You agree with that? Okay.
I do agree with that, because I do believe I was close with my great grandmother. My grandmother, my mom's mom, she's still living, but my great grandmother, I saw that. That's when I saw the change in the family, and like my mom kept saying, the matriarch has gone.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I agree as well because, with our family, Maria, being the youngest, I've seen the difference. As soon as grandmother Scott closed her eyes, I see the difference. I see the division amongst, the elders, and it's just trickling down to, the next generation. And I even see it within, my own, sisters as well.
Well, Dana, being that you and I are related, do you feel that when Grandma Scott passed away, not only did the family fall apart, it was like they were so dependent on her because, Grandma had everybody back. Something happens. Oh, she right there she gonna fuss you out later, but she gonna make sure you good.
She always gonna make, yeah.
Right. Do you also feel like that's the reason why some of her children went left after she passed away, because they were so used to Grandma always not necessarily pacifying, right?
Let's call it what it is, cleaning up their messes. And
right.
Yes, I do. I can honestly say yes.
And since she passed away, everything has went left.
Mm-hmm. And that's
what some of them have not grasped the fact that you've been an adult and then now you're an older adult. Stuff you should have figured out a long time ago. If you don't have it now, there's nobody here to help you. Figure out something you should have figured out a long time ago. You should have called on a long time ago.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Corey, you quiet now. You quiet, Corey. You quiet.
I'm waiting for. It's three. It's what 1, 2, 3, 4 ladies against one man. So I'm just waiting for y'all.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, we need the voice. We need
your
jump
voice
in every now and then.
Right,
because we gotta have that voice.
I'm about to put it all out there.
Mm-hmm.
Dana is my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Tamika is my sister, my god sister. Corey is my uncle through marriage. Okay, so I know all their business. So Corey, they want to hear your voice anyway.
Okay, I heard they is loving that voice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean,
you and I the same way when it comes to siblings. Not necessarily siblings when it comes to certain people in the family.
Certain people in the family, yes. Where do I start? Okay, I mean, I'm gonna start with my siblings first. Me and my brothers get along great. We don't talk to each other every day. I'll reach out to my brothers like probably once a week or so. I might be here other 2 weeks, and sometimes I probably need to work on that. Or all three of us need to work on that. We get along great. Some things that puzzle me with other siblings, I would never understand. Like my mom, she's like the youngest. She's the youngest girl out of 13 kids, and I would never understand how a sibling could be jealous of another sibling. Because my mom is very outspoken, and sometimes people, my favorite saying is, "What's good for you is good for me." And with that being said, she has siblings that like to say things out their mouth, little slick things out their mouth. But when my mom does it, she's wrong. They don't want to talk to her anymore. Stuff like that. They get the cursing, sometimes even almost about to get the fighting. Siblings about to fighting with each other, and that's one thing my mama always instilled in me and my brothers. You do not fight each other. Not fight each other. Y'all can get along, and that's that. And I love my brothers to death. And there's times where we do need to get together and spend some time together, but everybody's schedule is so conflicted. Everybody working different days or whatever like that. So yeah, and even like Tamika was saying, as far as the respect thing with family members, I have had situations where I got into it with like an uncle or an aunt, and I'm older, and the respect thing goes both ways. You're not gonna talk. I'm not a little boy anymore, and I'm damn sure not scared of you.
Exactly.
You're going to give me the same respect I give you. So do not raise your voice at me, because what you give me, you're going to get back.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about the situation. Now, there might be some times where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and walk away from this. But sometimes you gotta nip it in the bud, because if you let them get away with it one time, they're gonna continue to do it.
Doing it. Yep.
You know, I even had an aunt that told me one time, because I had an aunt that she kept disrespecting. You know, she kept disrespecting my mom and getting loud with my mom in my mom's house. And I was like, I straight told, I was like, yo, stop it. You're not going to keep disrespecting my mom in her house. My aunt came out her mouth and said to me, she said, I'll jack you up against that wall. I say, first of all, you could try it if you want to, because you can't even handle your own kids, nor can you handle your grandchildren. You know, and and I don't want to get too deep into it, but we was going back and forth to the point I was going at her like a dog at raw meat, until it got to the point where my mom started saying, she's like, Corey, stop, because once I go, you might as well let me keep going.
Well, first of all, what you said, Corey, you're right. Yeah, the aunts and the uncles, and you know, you have to. I ain't little no more. You know, I got my own family. I got my own house. I turn my own key. There comes a time where you gonna have to start respecting me, because, bitch, I'm doing better than you. Right. You know what I'm saying? You my aunt. I'm doing better than you. You fucking crackhead. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. It'd be like, some of them, it's like they older than you, and they act so stupid or whatever, and it's like, hey, why? And they are always in somebody else's business. They got more stuff on their plate. They got more stuff on their plate than enough.
Don't get me started.
That's all that.
Because if you let people tell it, my son's supposed to be dead or in jail right now, he ain't gonna be nothing. He ain't gonna do this and the third. You just let your kids do what they want to do, and guess what? Google him, baby. Meet a black all day long. Holler at me. Google him, baby. My son is doing very well. He has his own crib. He's doing his own thing. And these same people that told me my child wasn't going to amount to anything, they kids in and out of jail. Oh, you a grandma at 25. You know, you better watch your mouth, put some respect.
Exactly.
Both of my children are doing very well.
Yeah, that's that crazy part. That's the crazy part right there. When families like, they talk down on you way too much, and they don't give you opportunity. And every kid, every young adult growing up, they all make mistakes. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta own up to them, and if you ain't owning up to them, then I mean, to me, you ain't really learning from them. Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, I did that, but I didn't learn from this.
It's like, okay, and I'm gonna tell, and I want everybody's input on this, because this is how I feel about the situation. Okay. Now, me, like I said, I have 3 brothers. Me and my brother next to me we have the same father, and my 2 youngest brothers have the same father. Now, my mom called me probably about 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, probably a month ago. Okay. I was like, what's up? I was like, you okay? She was like, yeah. She's like, well, no, I take that back. She texted me because she said in her text she didn't know how to tell me, or she didn't know if I cared or not. I say, what's up, girl? Tell me what's going on, you know? So, come to find out, my dad has been sick for a minute. He's in a nursing home. Okay? And one thing I don't like is someone trying to manipulate me. I can't stand it. And I told my mom that I felt like she was manipulating me, or she was guilting me. Now she knows that me and my other brother, we don't have that tight relationship with my dad. Never have. He's in a nursing home, and she told me in the text, she said, you know, I didn't know how to tell you or if you would care. She said, but I would like to know that I raised my kids the right way. And right there, I was like, stop guilting me. Okay. You know, I'm not going to go and see him. You know, He got two daughters, two other daughters. You know, let them deal with it. Now, going forward, I text my brother. I say, hey, did your mama text you? That's how we talk when we talk about her. Did your mama text you? He was like, yeah, she texted me about homeboy. This is exactly what my brother said. Yeah, she texted me about homeboy or whatever. Said he in the nursing home. And I said, so what did you tell her? I said, what did you tell her? She said, my brother told her straight up, I don't care for him. He said, my brother's like, I'm sorry that he's in the nursing home, but don't text me about no more strangers. That's exactly how my brother never cared about my dad, because my dad he always never acknowledged him.
Well, can I say something, Corey?
What's up?
Okay, my situation my situation is just as bad as yours.
Mm-hmm.
How can I put this? My biological mother passed away 2 years ago. She left me a long time ago. The first time I ever met her, I was 10 years old, and at the time, I was living with a woman that I thought was my mother until I found out she was really my aunt. Mm-hmm. That's another story for another day.
Okay.
Let's fast forward. Now, this woman that birthed me, that left me, not once, not twice, but 3 times, just left me and vanished and never called me. She just stopped answering my phone calls. And I'm trying to reconnect because I don't know you. Long story short, she passed away. Mm-hmm. Now, this same woman that birthed me, that treated me like shit, that passed me on to someone else and had me thinking this woman was my mother. She's still my mother. May she rest in peace, because this woman took care of me. But you took me away from this woman that was taking care of me. Now, my biological mama passed away 2 years ago. She left me stranded. I don't know her. Guess who paid for her funeral? I did. Me and my children paid for her funeral. Now, she left me in Virginia, went to Ohio. I haven't seen her. The point that I'm making is that I get what you're saying. You don't care for your father, whatever. I went through a mixed emotions because I'm like, this is exactly what I told them when they called me. What the fuck you calling me for? I don't know that woman. Y'all can do what the fuck y'all want to do with her body. That's exactly what I said. When I hung up the phone with the coroner's office, I had a conversation with myself. And at the end of the day, yes, this woman gave me up when I was 6 months old, and somebody else took care of me as I was their own child. And then you came into my life when I was like 10, 11 years old. And then when I turned 14, you took me away from this family that took care of me since I was 6 months old, brought me to Virginia, and then you left me again. You abandoned me again. But at the end of the day, I was the one that paid for your funeral. I was the one that made sure you had a proper burial. I had her cremated. Mm-hmm. She likes the park, so when the spring comes, I still have her in my room. I'm going to spread her ashes. But I'm the one that you abandoned. But I'm the one that took care of you. Mm-hmm. So I get where I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I am. I'm really hurt because biologically I am the only child. But I didn't know I was the only child until this stranger came into my life after this woman had me since I was 6 months old, who had 2 children of her own, who took me in as her child. So I never knew that I didn't have any siblings. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I was given to somebody else because you didn't want me. But at the end of the day, I'm the one that had your back. I'm the one that took care of you. I'm the one that paid for your funeral. I'm the one that made sure you were cremated and your ashes got sent to me. So it's like, I looked at it as, at the end of the day, even though this woman didn't do anything for me, mm-hmm. She brought me into this world. She had a choice. She could have had an abortion. She did not. She chose to give me to someone that can take care of me. So that's why my decision changed, and I paid for her to be cremated and sent to me from Ohio to Virginia.
Okay.
Now, I say that to say this. I know you don't know that man, and I know he probably ain't shit to you. But I think you should go see this man, because at the end of the day, he still brought you in this world. Even though he didn't have you per se, he helped your mother. If you don't even say nothing, just hey or what's up, I think you should go see him. I really do. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
I have so many questions and so many things I want to talk to my biological mother about that I can't, because she's gone. She's not here anymore. And I really think you should go see him. Even though you don't mess with him or whatever him and your mother went through, I still think you should see him, because at the end of the day, he helped bring you in. He helped bring you into this world. He did. I mean, that's just me. I mean, I don't know how any of y'all feel about that, but that's how I feel, because I've been through it and I've been through that pain, you know. So at the end of the day, he's still alive. Take advantage of it, because I didn't even know her, but I paid for her to get cremated and come here with me. So even though you don't deal with him, he's in a nursing home. I think you should at least, if you only go visit him one time, just go visit him that one time. He still helped bring you onto this world. That's just how I feel. I don't mean anybody else can comment on it, but that's how I feel about it.
I think that he should.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I was just saying, I think that he should at least go see him at one time, and if he's able to answer any question that you may have, just let him answer them, and you can take it just like that. It may not be what you want to hear, but at least get closure in that area, because I didn't get closure with my father, so definitely get closure if you can.
Okay.
Neither did I. I didn't get closure with my mother or my biological father.
Well, with Deacon, I don't think me and you have ever had the opportunity to talk about this. I was able to get in contact with my father in 2015, amongst everything that I went through within my childhood. But by then, Tiana was born, and you know, me being grown, it's kind of hard, you know, to have that missing parent come into your life, because my issue was, he still looked at me as a little girl, and I'm like, I'm well off in my 40s. I got 2 kids. I think I've been doing my adult thing for a while now. So it's me and my dad. He moved here. He moved here to Houston, but he had the rest of his family believing that he was just coming here to visit. Well, long story short, it didn't end very well, and I almost went to jail behind my dad. And I put him out. That's just it. I chose, you know, to end that relationship because I saw how toxic it started to become. And
Dana,
I didn't want my daughter to be a part of something like that.
I understand your situation, but me personally, me not knowing that person, he's a stranger. He would have never came to live with me. I'm sorry, that's just me personally. I wouldn't even allow him to come visit, because I don't know you.
I was just so, you know, I've been looking for this man, you know, for years, and it was just all that excitement. We finally found each other. And it was so much questions I had for him, and then I didn't know his side of the family. When Tiana was a year old, we went to Columbus for 2 weeks. We spent 2 weeks in Columbus with him, and, you know, I was introduced to his family. But the realization came when he came here to Houston. And I didn't know my dad was on drugs. Didn't know at all. And it threw me through a loop. Like, you know, this man just did a whole 180 on me. Literally. So, I mean, it's at your discretion, Corey. But at the end of the day, you know, people can give you advice. You have to do what's best for you. Do what you feel is best for you.
All right. Okay.
So it can be, you know, a touch and go situation, but at the end of the day, it's still your choice, your decision.
Hmm.
If you're not comfortable, then by all means, if you're not ready, hey, pray
Okay.
on it. Pray on
All
it.
right. Gotcha.
Wow, we
And by the way,
getting.
Vika, my dad, he did pass, and his family did not. I was his only child, and they didn't much want me at the funeral at all. They would not allow me to come to his funeral.
Well, let's talk about this. When my mom passed away, I did some research. Which is it called? Ancestry.com.
Mm-hmm.
My mom died very young. She died young based off the information that they sent me with her death certificate. She was almost 60. She had all of these degrees. And then I have my birth certificate. So I looked my father up and come to find out he died when he was 41 years old. And he was in the military. However, when I did the research, the research shows that he doesn't have a child. It says he doesn't have any kids.
Wow.
But you're right, and I have proof that that's my dad. So but I was told a different story. I was told my dad was Caucasian, and that's where I got my hair from, and he's an architect. But when I kept Googling the information went to Ancestry based off the information that was on my birth certificate, it kept coming up that he was 41 years old and died in the military. And he died, supposedly nobody knew he had a child. So definitely we'll be talking about that at another time. So I have to do some more research because I never met the man. I don't remember him. I do remember my biological mom showing me a picture of this man, and the picture that she showed me, yes, this man was Caucasian with blonde hair. I talked to my stepfather about it. He said, I met your father. I said, well, what the hell he looked like? And he told me the same thing, and he described this man that I seen in this picture. I never met this man in my life. Now, double digits ago, I ran into somebody on Facebook who, quote unquote, claimed they knew who my father was, but he wasn't white, he was black. So it's a lot of stuff going with that situation. I really want to know that side of my family because I don't know those people. The only people that I know is my family from Georgia, and then come to find out my family in Georgia is only my family through marriage. It goes on and on and on. We can be doing this all night, It hurt. Tamika, I feel your pain. You never met your father either. I don't know what this man looks like.
Well, I met him, but it was just I met him. It's just that I was really young. I was like 7 when we left Jersey. So I have, you know what I'm saying? But it was like after that, I ain't had nothing. You guys, my best friend, I cried all night when they called me and told me he had passed away. He had been
I
dead
remember
for 2 years.
because the TV that I had, you was like it had sentimental value, and at that time, shit was crazy.
Yep.
I remember that. So, and Dana, I feel your pain as well. But one thing I can say about you that I didn't have the experience, you had the chance to meet him, even though shit went left between y'all. You had a chance to meet him. You had a chance to get to know him. I don't know who my daddy is. Never met this man a day in my life. I don't know who he is. I wish I would have known him before he passed away. I wish I would have known my mom before she passed away. I have so many questions to ask her, but it's too late now. It hurts. It does. It hurts.
Yeah, it does, and even for me, I didn't get that closure with him to even, say my goodbyes because I wasn't allowed to, But one family member from his side of the family reached out to me, and that made a big difference. The conversation she and I had, she told me, even though he's no longer here, I'm still part of the family. I'm still blood. And that made a big impact on me to, want to have a relationship with her beyond the issue that was created before he closed his eyes. At the end of the day, I forgave my father. I did have the opportunity to talk to him on the phone before he closed his eyes. But to me, it wasn't enough. I still had unanswered questions. And I felt he was the best one to be able to answer those questions for me. now I'm having to look my daughter in her face and let her know that the man you met as your grandfather has closed his eyes, So she's very understanding, but at the end of the day, she didn't have that relationship with him to even have any emotions to him passing. So it's a big a big issue for me mentally, and it's something I'm dealing with, But as far as my daughter, she's okay. She's unharmed. She's untouched by it.
Get it.
Mm-mm.
So Dana, you were saying something about closure. Exactly what did you mean? Did you mean closure with the siblings or closure with the family as far as the situations that was going on in the generation?
Well, with the family, because I don't have a relationship with them, and so I have a very outgoing personality. And on top of that, I'm gonna speak my mind, whether you young or old. Again, it's that respect level, and so they still saw me as a child. I'm like, I'm well up in my 40s. I'm far from a child, and you're gonna handle me accordingly. So they don't like that part of me. So it's like, we don't want to deal with her. Okay, cool. I choose not to deal with y'all either.
Now, Tamika, I know you can relate to that situation as far as people still thinking you little Tamika, little meat from previous situations. I know you can relate to Dana's situation, and I know if you could handle that situation, and you know what situation I'm talking about better, you would. But what made you not disrespect your aunt, but what made you say what you said to her to make her feel that she was being disrespected, even though you're an adult and she's an adult too?
Okay. I'm trying to put this as short as possible. Basically, when the first situation happened at her house, we get to her salon and she was just like, you fucking disrespectful, and she was just going off, and I was like, well, how? She was like, no, you don't respect your elders, is what she said. And I was like, well, I'm confused because I've always respected you regardless of everything. And she was like, everything like what? And I was like, we ain't gonna go there because I've done forgave and forget. But I haven't forgotten, but I done forgave the situation. I done moved on from all of those things. And at this point in time, we did not have a great relationship. I had talked to her about how I felt as when I was growing up, that you didn't really care or love for me, even though my mom took care of your kids and we loved on them. We dealt with all the issues that they had or whatever. I was 9 years old making dinner and breakfast and stuff, helping with homework with your kids while you was doing your thing. And regardless of what you sent my mama, it doesn't matter. My childhood was disrupted for helping your kids. So when you show the lack of care, the disrespect towards me, my mother, like, it was a lot of built up tension I had for my aunt, but that's my aunt. So I'm not going to disrespect her. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to keep I might say it, but I'm not going to disrespect her in no way or whatever. So I never did. And so when we were in the back and she was just like, you don't respect your elders. And I kept telling her like, oh, I respect you a lot. Like I had to hold my composure because I was like, oh gosh, what you mean I don't respect you? Because you get a lot of respect regardless of the things that you have done in the past. Some stuff people wouldn't let some of that stuff go. I had to learn to let go. My mother explained to me, God forgive you every day to me for the things that you do wrong. You gotta forgive one day, and you can't keep letting her hold that over you. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. That's the power. And people say when you hold stuff, you giving them too much power. In a sense, it's true because it's like every time you see them, they get rattled. You all upset. You don't want to. You know what I'm saying? You can't be cool, whatever. And that's when I realized I was like, whoa, like I need you to respect me. Give me the respect that you talking about. I don't respect you. Right now, you called me, and y'all, I know this recorded, but what she called me was highly disrespectful or whatever. For my aunt to call me a bitch and call me it was a lot. And I was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And I don't respect you, but you just disrespected me the other day. And now you still talking about I don't respect my elders. So she was like, you ain't got shit. You ain't got shit to say. That's why you can't say nothing. And I'm looking at her like, I was like, look, leave it alone. I respect you. And I said it again. And she was like, you know why you can't tell me what the fuck? And I was like, here she go again with this crazy shit. You can't tell me because you ain't got shit to say. So when she said that and she threw her fingers up in my face, I said, oh, let me tell you what the fuck I got to say. So I started laying that shit out. Then she kicked me out of the salon. So then she kicked me out and I couldn't finish, like, because I was going in. She was like, that shit you should have worked out with your mama. I said, no, it should have worked out with you, but I let it go because you said I don't respect you. Basically. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So it was a lot of things that was said, like, and I try to play it back and see where I can just have changed the situation. But the problem with this, with me changing the situation, and this is why I talk about allowing family members to do wrong and they always think they right, situation comes in. This is what irks me with her. It's like, you always doing stuff and saying stuff out the way and whatever, and you feel like you right about everything or whatever. I never heard you say and apologize to nobody. You know,
I know somebody like that.
None of your wrongdoing. None of it. So at that moment, I couldn't let it go. It was the ego part of me that was like, bitch, let her have it. Because she told you that she called you a bitch on top of that. But now she's telling you ain't got shit to say. Oh, fuck that. Tell her. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I did, and it was just like, you need to know that you need to respect people the same way you asking for all this respect as the elder. You give no respect.
Exactly.
So how can I give you respect and you not giving me the same? I'm grown.
You're
I'm
right.
fucking grown.
Dana.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking, that's crazy.
And I get that. Dana, you were in a similar situation where you had to put your paws on an auntie.
Oh my.
Yes.
Oh my.
Let's talk about that, because first of all, let me tell y'all what I do with my children. I teach my children, just because I'm your mother does not mean I am always right. However, if you feel that I am wrong, you better have your facts straight. And if anybody know, y'all know who that is. That goddamn black. That little mother, I love my baby to death, but that motherfucker right there will come to me and I don't think you right because of A, B, C, D, and then have it. God, you little motherfucker, you right, you got it. You got it. He always challenged me. And I think that's what made us close. Because y'all know that's my best friend in the whole wide world. I don't give a damn if my son goes into the military and they send him into Afghanistan and he say, Mama, I want to come home. I'm on my goddamn way. And everybody know I'm scared to fly. You feel me? So
you need to stop being scared to fly.
You know, I'm scared. I'm saying I'm scared. But he challenged.
We got trips to take, right?
Oh, and is. Because Tika don't even know, but we going on tour. She don't even know it yet. And she who?
Where is Tika?
I'm going on another tour. Okay.
We going on tour.
Tika.
But Tika childish, y'all. Cause Tika child. I love her, y'all. I love her.
Maria, Tiana, say goodnight.
Good night, Tiana. I can't wait. I miss you already. Night night.
Girl, don't get her started because she'll take my little headphones and walk out.
But yeah, y'all, it's been really crazy. So
I get all of that, but Dana, let's talk about your situation. Your situation, if I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna let you finish the story, but I think you felt like you was disrespected, or you felt like because they thought that they were your superior or your aunt, they felt like they can disrespect you or do what they did to you for y'all to end up in the situation that happened. Now,
let's just call the situation what it is. My aunt.
Hold on. I'm not finished. It's a second answer. It's a second question to this. Now, that same aunt that you had an altercation with passed away last year. Now, we're going to talk about what made you feel like you felt like you was disrespected, that you had to put your aunt in check. Now that she's passed away, do you feel like there was something different that you could have did that would have to escalate it to the way that it did?
No. Everything happens for a reason.
Okay.
And now that she's closed her eyes, I don't care. To this day, I still kiss her until I love her, regardless. That was my aunt. She was one that just I always ran to. Always ran to.
Oh, we both did. You know, that was Aunt Elaine. May you rest of. That was my favorite aunt.
Yeah, I mean,
that was my favorite aunt.
That lady there,
She saved me from a lot of ass whoopings.
Me too. Me too. How grandma was looking for? Grandma looking for y'all? Yeah, come on in here. Come on in. Y'all been here with me. Man, y'all been in that tree again, huh? But she, I already knew what the issue was, but it how can you say, it became flight, you know, how they say, fight or flight. I couldn't go nowhere, so I had to fight. And I couldn't look at her as my auntie because she didn't look at me in that aspect. So it was mainly very defensive, trying not to get hurt by her.
So what was it that made you lose respect for her to the point that y'all got into a physical altercation?
My auntie pulled the knife on me and was coming at me. And my son was in the room with us. I had to be a parent before I was a niece, you know, a niece.
I understand.
I had to make a choice. So we were able to work through that issue. But I still miss her, you know. I miss her, and I still love her. Despite, you know, the issue that we had. She's not perfect. She was, you know, it was an illness. But the situation, it I wish it could have been, you know, different to where I could have stayed and helped her, you know, through what she was going with. But, you know, she's up in age, she's set in her ways, and she's lived her life all these years the way she wanted to live. So there was no change. She was settled with the way she was living her life. And me coming home and seeing that, it hurt me. It really hurt me. That's not the auntie I remember. But, Tika, you know, you was on the phone with me when I was crying and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, in her day, she was the best, one of the best aunties ever.
Hell yeah. You know, all them ass whoopers I should have got. Yes, Aunt Elaine was that aunt that you ran to. You'd be like, all right, Aunt Elaine, I know I fucked up. This what happened, but I need you. And she'd be like, I got you. You know.
As long as you know what you did wrong.
Yeah, as long as you
Her famous words. As long as you know what you did wrong.
Yep. Now,
just don't get caught doing it again.
Exactly. Now, back to Tamika. Tamika, you know, I know a lot of your situations as well. I remember a situation where you and your aunt, the same aunt that disrespected you recently, disrespected you back in the day. What led to that situation where she felt like that she had to put her hands on her niece in the middle of the street?
Oh gosh, that is back in the day.
Yes, I remember that shit like it was yesterday.
Yes, when you said the middle of the street, okay. So I think about which altercation, because there were several altercations, and I'm just like, okay, but yeah, okay. So now I'm still up in age at this point, but I'm not like, I think I wasn't even 20 yet when this happened. So I had my little apartment out the gardens, Stoop Gardens, and my mom and I was still staying out Regency Square.
Wait a minute.
So
when this happened, both of us was working at West. I remember that. Okay, so that's about right. 1920.
Yeah, it was about, no, I was after I graduated, so it was like, we're probably like 2001 or something like that.
Because I remember that incident like it was yesterday.
So she was working at the shop that's like, you know, where that Ramada in there, where they used to have that right there with a Walmart at, and that little shopping center that's right there. She was working at a shop right there. And
I think they remember that because
you,
we old as a bitch.
It's the same spot, Mumbo's. But
Yup.
Mumbo's used to be a hair salon.
Yep,
Okay?
that's what it
So-
was. Yep.
It used to be a hair salon. So I went. I was like, my mom was like, she was stressing. So when we moved here, my mom gave up a lot. We moved from DMV area, so my mom was making mad money up there, working with, you know what I'm saying, the sick, you know what I'm saying, in the home. So she worked in a home. You know, they used to have the home where you go into it's like a home and everybody's like 6 patients in there. And my mom made a lot of money there. You know what I'm saying? So when we moved here, they was paying $5 something, and she was like, look, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So long story short, she ended up working for Dale, and there was a whole lot of stuff or whatever. And we ended up moving out of the house that we were staying on out the creek, and we moved to Regency Square. So my mom really needed everybody's help. So I'm like, Mom, do you want me to call them, like try to set a meeting so everybody can like try to come together to help you? She was like, yeah, because she had to go to work. So that's what I did. Contacted my uncles. They ain't had no problem. So I'm calling her. She good for not answering her phone. So I went to the shop. I was like, hey, auntie, I was like, what you doing? And whatever. I was like, I just can't talk to you right quick because, you know, mama want to have a meeting, you know, sitting with y'all or whatever about, you know what I'm saying, grandma and granny. Well, at the time, it was just, both of them was there. So grandma and granny, because she really needed some help or whatever. And I'm talking to her really, really low, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. The client she had in her seat, she was family. So it wasn't like I was saying it in front of some just random ass client or whatever. So I'm like, okay. She was like, look, I'm working or whatever. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just letting you know that's what she want to do or whatever. I walked out. I'm at the red light, pulling out of the shopping center. She comes to the door. You don't be motherfucker, and swung on me in the door. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
Wait a
at this
minute.
time,
Mika, pause. I remember. Was I driving? Because I remember her.
no, you wasn't driving. You
But
wasn't
how did
driving.
I
was
see
in the
it?
driver's seat.
But
I
how
was
did
in the driver's seat.
But how did
I
I
was in
see
the
it?
driver's seat. I don't know. No,
Was I
told
behind you?
about it.
Because I was
You
there.
could've been- You either was behind me or something or whatever, but
Because I was there.
driving 'cause my
I
mama
seen
had the
that.
caravan.
I think I was in front
Yeah.
of you. Because
I had the caravan or whatever, and I was in the car or whatever. It was somebody. It wasn't you that was in the car with me. It was, in fact, no, I was by myself, and I had my mom a little red, little burgundy little caravan. And I
Yep.
remember it, whatever.
but
We
I
at
was
the light.
I had to be in front of you. I think I was in front
Yeah.
of you because I
So
seen it.
And I was like, yo, like, what the fuck is wrong with you or whatever? So she's swinging us, so we get to the house. And I'm already pissed or whatever. She follows me to the house or whatever. And I was like, yo, she gotta go. By this time, she done called her little police friend or whatever. He comes to the house and he was like, well, do you live here? No, she don't live here. She got her own apartment. I said, well, my name is still technically on this lease or whatever. So I could be, he was like, well, I'm just going to ask because this is her mom and I know that's her. I said, and that's my grandmother. This is my mother's apartment. This is not her. She has to go too. So we're going at it because I'm like, yo, you put your hands on me or whatever. Like, this is a problem because at that time I was really young. Back then, I would have, like, we was going to get ready to fight, but we're literally at the red light, getting ready to, like, fight. And her friend came out the salon, was like, yo,
And
what
she
you
not
wilding?
lying because
You
I was there.
You wilding or whatever. Like, bitch, she was like, go ahead, like, come on, come in here or whatever. Like, you ain't have to do that. And now I'm hearing her telling her, like, you ain't have to do that. Like, that's not even how, like, the way she makes stuff seem is like, it was you out of line. She's like, you out of line coming to talk to me about my mother. Well, if you answered your sister's phone calls, I wouldn't have come hunt you down. Or whatever.
Because she
Tell her
came
why
out
she's
the
at work.
salon. I remember
Salon.
that shit.
Yeah, she came out of
Came
salon
out the
to come
salon.
fight me.
I was
I
in
asked
front
her,
of you.
and I'm
I
talking
remember.
to her.
I
And
remember
I'm
now.
talking to her, and I'm like,
Yep.
yo, like,
Because I was
what
in
the
front
fuck?
of you.
Like, you didn't even
when
have
it
to
happened.
do all of that or whatever. And so
Yep.
for me, with her, it's always put your hands on somebody. Like, I've never, and my mom always made this very clear to me. If one of your uncles or your aunts put their hands on you, I'm telling you, do not put your hands back on neither one of them. I will handle that when I see them. I don't care what happened. I'm just letting you know, long as you ain't got, you know what I'm saying, they ain't trying to kill you, you make sure that you carry your ass, and I'm going to handle my sister and my brothers or whatever, for whatever reason. So, boom, I let my mom handle it or whatever, but at the end of the day, that was one moment where after that, I ain't had no words for her. Like, for a long time, I would not even talk to her. I didn't care about anything. So I was like, yo, you put your hands on me. You really think that shit cool? Like, you don't even understand the sacrifices me and my mother made. And when I say me and my mother, the problem I have with her is that she feels like your mother made those sacrifices. No, sweetie, I was her child. So I made those sacrifices too. This was a two-way thing. Who you think was substituting for all the things that was happening when we had your kids? And at that moment, we still had your kids. So let the truth be told. You sitting up here, what you fronting for? What you mad about? You putting on a show for these bitches in the salon. I'm your fucking niece. So with all of that, like, we had a lot that happened, that went on, and it was just unnecessary stuff. And to me, I feel like still to this day, like, she be having amnesia about the shit that she's done. Like, period. And I'm like, why? Like, why, Lord? Like, why? Like, when this last situation that happened, my mom had only been gone for 1 year and 2 months. My uncle had just died. And when we got into that first argument or whatever, I was literally in the middle of her street fussing at my mother. Like, why did you leave me here with this family like this? And then I'm like, God, why this family? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So as I take and I sit back and I look at all the situations that has happened with me and my family or whatever, I just take it as lessons on how to deal with people that's not my family. Because I do know for a fact that you can have a family, that they don't necessarily got to be blood to be your family. You know what I'm saying? So with all that I have learned with my blood family, it's tragic to me because I always felt like we should all be close, because that's something that my grandmother wanted. My grandmother begged my mother to come back to take care of her, and that she can help to put her sisters and brothers back on track and get the family back to how they used to be. And it didn't happen. To me, that's tragic because she was she was the monarch of our family, like, and we let her down. In a sense, all that has happened, regardless of what it happened, who did it, I feel like we have let her down tremendously. And we owe her to at least get along and to love on each other for real. But also own up to our bullshit at the same time. Stop thinking that you're right about. If I'm wrong, I will apologize. But you have to let me know, like, oh, you did, that was fucked up. And I'm like, well, damn, I ain't know it was, like that. I'm that type of person. I don't just hold on to my wrongdoings and keep moving. Unless I know I was right in what I was doing, I'm not going to let that shit lay, because I cannot do that. I can't allow you to think that it's okay to be disrespectful to me, regardless of who you are, aunt, uncle, cousin, sister. It doesn't matter. I can't let you do that, because I already dealt with that in my life. You know what I'm saying? I already had to deal with somebody who feel like they was right all the time, and you can't get through to them. And if you don't just let it lay and let it be, then they have a whole attitude, and you got to deal with the wrath of that person. Nobody wants to live like that. I'm gonna live in peace within me and within my household. We're not doing that. We don't have to. I've learned that, and I'm gonna keep on moving like that. I have family, and not all of them blood.
I understand that. Cause we ain't blood, but I'll fuck somebody up over Tamika Gatlin straight up.
Facts.
Exactly. And Corey too. Holla at your girl.
Facts.
Don't let this voice fool you, cause I will get you if I have to.
Yeah, so
please believe it.
It's a lot though. It's a lot to deal with. Family taught me a lot, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Some friends who showed me more love than my family, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I just couldn't believe it. I thought when we moved to VA, I'm gonna be with my cousins, I'm gonna be with my family. And boom, when I got here, it was like, whoo, girl, there's a whole desert out here. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was nothing what I thought it was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? But now, me and my cousins that do talk all the time, whatever, we always like, look, regardless of what our older people are doing in our family, we're going to try to get together and still be a family and still keep our kids and our family, you know what I'm saying, at least knowing each other, whatever. Yeah, we got, Quita and her sisters and brothers and all of that. Just trying to keep the family together, even if we got to start with this generation and just keep it going like that and show them something different.
Exactly. People, that's what I try to tell people. Just because we blood, that don't make us family. I don't care what the book say. On the street, Blood ain't thicker than water. It's not.
It's not.
It's not at all. Because I get more respect. I get more support. Shout out to Kimberly the Balls. From people that's not related to me versus the people that is related to me. Like I said before in a previous podcast, I don't care what I do. Kimberly is all fucking for it. You hear me? When I came out with my LorraineMaria.com, Kimberly was like, I got you. Put the word out there and everybody came to it. I love her. That I love her. That's one of my best friends. Just like Mama V, which is Tamika's mother. I don't care what I wanted to do. I'd be like, I don't want to work for nobody no more. Mama V, I want to do ABC. I can tell her I want to fly airplanes and they never did it a day in my life. She'd be like, that's what you want to do? I'd be like, yup. She'd be like, all right. I don't care what idea I came up with. Mama V would be like, all right. If that's what you wanted to do. She never said that was stupid, that's dumb, that's crazy. Don't do it. Her line was always, is that what you want to do?
Exactly.
You know, I miss her. May she rest in peace. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love all y'all. Y'all are just so freaking awesome, and I can just talk to y'all on and on and on and on. But I don't know if nobody want to listen to a podcast for 2 hours. But I'm just saying, you know. I'm just saying I can go on and on with y'all. Tika, you mighty quiet. Are you okay?
Oh yes, I'm good. I'm just listening to your stories. You know, with me, I don't have a bunch of stories. Like, you know, I told you guys that my mom has a large family, like similar to what Corey was saying, the 13 siblings, and I think with that, somewhere down the line, you know, of course, there's a lack of attention, and things get mixed up. Probably got mixed up when they were younger, and you know, so sometimes they're at odds with each other, unfortunately. And you know, there's some competition, like we talked about in that episode, whether they want to admit it or not, because they're all still living, you know, just like my grandmother is still living. So they're all still living and still fighting over things, you know, years later. So yeah, so, but you know, just listening to all you guys' stories, I you know, like I said, I'm born and raised in California, and my parents have been married for, I always tell them 100 years. But well, actually, I think they've been married for so long, they didn't even know it was their anniversary last week. It was like, oh, it was our anniversary. Yep.
Oh wow.
So that's how
It was like, oh, it's another day.
right. So that's how I grew up. It's just, you know, that type of lifestyle. But it's just and my dad has a small family. My dad is from he's born and raised in Watts, California. Shout out to Watts. So but he's born and raised in Watts, and so he has a small family. Well, I guess compared to my mom. And my mom, I call her Leo the Lion. And Leo the Lion, she has a roar, okay? So she does not back down for nothing. So, you know, there's a lot of things, you know, with aunts and uncles. And then with me, with my personality, you know, if I'm oblivious to when people are upset with me or something, unless somebody directly tells me, you know, I don't get little side messages and stuff like that. I just do not, my brain just does not work that way.
Right.
You don't come out and tell me half the time. I'm just like, hey, you know, want to go out to eat or something? You know, somebody be like, oh my God, didn't you know I was mad at you? I'm like, oh, when? You know, that's just me. I'm just very laid back. So, but my aunts and stuff like that, I've had to. One of them, I've had to tell her a few things or two in the past, but like it was said, friends do become more than family. Because I always tell people, families are just people that you happen to be born into that, that bloodline. So it's definitely not a necessity to me to be tracking down people and tracing and stuff like that. So it's just, that's just me. I don't push relationships, and I don't like anybody to push anything on me either.
Thank you.
All right.
I want to thank Tamika, Dana, and back by popular demand, Corey, so y'all can start sending me emails and putting reviews up there looking for him. Corey is in the building. He promised to be on the show more. Thank you for listening to Sipping with Maria and Tika G, where we do not talk about politics, religion, or celebrities. We feel like there's enough blogs, and other podcasts that talk about that stuff. As you all know, As y'all all know, you good. As y'all all know, season 1 was about relationships. We picked this title because there is something everyone can relate to when it comes to relationships. And we're not just talking about couples, we're talking about all types of relationships. The parent-child relationship, in-law relationships, brother and sister. The list goes on and on and on. Season 2 will be here March 31st. It's all about you, the listeners. So you pick the topic. If we choose your topic, guess what? You get to be on the show. So with that being said, Mr. Corey has something to say before we leave, y'all. What's up, Corey?
I got an early morning flight. I got to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
I can't wait. So,
where you going, celebrity? Where you going?
Right, where you going, celebrity?
Where's your jet flying to? Where's your jet flying to?
I will be flying to New York and I'll be back Sunday.
Ain't nobody ask you. We don't care.
Okay.
We don't care.
Okay,
Listener,
I need a gift.
Right?
I need a gift. I need a gift.
Right.
But I did enjoy.
Bring me back some
enjoyed
cheesecake.
Okay, I enjoyed everybody.
We
See y'all on the next show.
Listeners, season 2 starts March 31st. The title of that season is Let's Talk About It. And what we mean by that, let's talk about. We will talk about anything you want to talk about, except what? Religion, politics, and celebrity.
Celebs like Corey.
However, we would love to have celebrities on the show. We ain't got to talk about you, but we would love to have you on the show. We feel that there's enough blogs, and other podcasts that talk about that stuff. We're here every Thursday, 8 p.m. And just because tonight makes our last episode does not mean we will not be available at 8 p.m. every Thursday. So be on the lookout for our bonus videos featuring, what's the name of them, Tika, again? Mo and Miz from that podcast.
Yes, Smoking Guns.
That's what it is. So be on the lookout for them next Thursday at 8 p.m. I'm
on vacation, y'all. Me and Corey gotta catch a flight. We don't y'all, Thursday is going down.
It's definitely going down. So just because season 2 does not start until March 31st, we still got something for you. When every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, come holler at us. We're Sipping with Maria and Tika G. I'll holler at you, and we out.
All right.